Okay, so now let's focus the solution of this problem. So now here, as according to the circuit diagram, that you can see that here the value of the resistor is given, which is 400 ohms, and also the value of the inductor is given, which is 150 millihenry, and the value of the capacitor is given, which is having a value of 1 microfarad. Okay, so now here you can very clearly see that the resistor and the inductor are connected parallelly. Okay, so after that it is connected to the capacitor in the series format, right? So then the circuit is completed, and here we have the major voltage source. And also, as according to this problem, guys, just keep in mind, so as according to this problem, they have given us the voltage across the inductor. So the value of the voltage across the inductor they have given us in the format of a function which is having a value of 17 sine 2000 t, right? So now here in this VL equals 17 sine 2000 t. Now you know this 2000 is the angular speed and this 17 is the peak voltage, right? Okay, this t is time, so they have given us the voltage across the inductor. That is done. It's a very easy problem, because in this problem, so in the solution of this problem I will be focusing on solving the problem in the logical manner. So because in this problem I will not be teaching you theories, history of inductors, theory parts, because I know how much theories that you know when it comes to the solution of the problem. Like when it comes to the solution of the problem, you guys will not be able to solve that because you don't know that systematic approach. So now I will be teaching you that. I think so. Now our target is to evaluate the individual current through each and every these components. So we are going to calculate the current through this resistor, and also we are going to calculate the current through this inductor, and then the current through the capacitor, right? So it's a very easy task, because if we can evaluate the current through the resistor and the inductor, then we can add them, so that will be the total current, right? Because at this junction both the currents will get connected, which is I total, so that is the same current that passes through the capacitor. That means I total equals to I capacitor, right? Because in most of the final exam question papers they will give you the source voltage, right? But be very careful, here they have not given us the source voltage. This is something that we need to evaluate. Here they have given us the voltage across the inductor, right? Okay, so now let's focus. So now solving these problems are not like solving simple resistor problems as we have solved in our high school level, right? So that's not the case. So now, because now as you know, in our high school classes we just solve problems like, here we have a capacitor, resistor, and here we have a resistor, and these resistors are connected, something like that. So these problems are very simple type of problems, right, with simple resistors. But here it's not like that. We have inductors and we have capacitors. So now this is the systematic way. So now guys, just focus. Here we calculate something called reactance. Okay, so it is also something like the resistance, but this is little bit special. So here we calculate something called reactance for inductor. So how we are going to calculate that is by L omega. Reactance for the inductor equals L omega. So what is L? Inductance. So here they have given us the inductance in millihenry, but here we have to put the standard unit. That means it should be in Henry, right? So 150 millihenry means just divide that by 1000 and multiply that by the angular speed. Guys, be very careful. I have seen that many guys are telling that this is frequency, but don't call this frequency, because that is something different, because we know angular speed equals 2 pi f. So in that case this f is the frequency. Okay, so please don't call this as the frequency, just call this angular speed. Okay, so reactance for the inductor, that is the number one thing. It equals L omega. So here you will be getting the answer for the reactance for the inductor. Okay, now guys, you know there is some thing you need to know about the inductors. Inductors actually lead in resistance. That means inductors lead in the voltage. So just because inductors lead in the resistance, that means they lag the current. That's the theory behind that. Inductors lag the current. Okay, so now we know the reactance of the inductor. So guys, this reactance is also something like the resistance but not the same, because here we need the knowledge of complex algebra. Okay, let's see how to solve that. So now, because this is a systematic approach, so you can understand. So now we are going to calculate current across the inductor. So how to find the current across the inductor? Because we know current equals, because we know V equals IR, no doubt. So current would be V divided by R. So that is why I told you this reactance is also something similar to the resistance, but not that. Okay, so here what is the voltage? Because they have given us the voltage across the inductor, which is 17 sine 2000 t. This is the voltage, because now I told you in this voltage equation, this 17 is the peak value. This 17 is the peak value, but here we are going to consider the root mean square value, not the peak. Root mean square value, guys. Just the theory, guys. This is just the systematic way. So for the voltage, you just put 17 divided by root 2, right? Because 17 is the peak, so you put 17 divided by root 2, and that is divided by the resistance. So what is the resistance? That is 300. So put 300. But there is something here, you need to put the phase angle. I told you that inductors lead in the resistance, right? So PO inductors, like if you consider one PO inductor, they lead by 90 degrees. So here just put 90 degrees, right? Okay, because inductors lead in the resistance. So for the voltage, you are going to put the root mean square value, which is the peak value divided by root 2 and divided by 300. But in addition to that, just put the symbol, the angle. What is the angle? 90 degrees. Okay, so 70 divided by root 2 divided by 300, I think the value would be 0.040 something like that. So you can put 40 milliampere, because this value is in amperes, so this is milliampere. So 40 milliamperes, but this 90 comes up. This is simple, like this is algebra, this is complex algebra, so this 90 will come up. So that means this will become minus 90 degrees. Okay, because now the thing is, I told you inductors lead in resistance. If they lead in resistance, that means they lag in the current. So see, in this inductor, this inductor lags the current by minus 90 degrees. So I think this is clear. So now let's focus the next thing. Here actually this is not next thing, this is like alternate method. Okay, so let's focus this alternate method, right? Okay, so let's focus that. So now what is the current through the inductor? That particular voltage divided by the resistance. So that resistance is the inductance. So now here you can do something like this. So I told you for inductors and for capacitors, we introduce the complex number term, which is I, because I equals root of minus 1, right? That is simple basics. But for inductors, because now it is not same as resistors, for inductors and capacitors we introduce this I. Okay, so now let me tell you something. So for inductors it is positive, because for inductors the coefficient is positive, right? The coefficient is positive because the reason it leads in the resistance. So that is why here we put the positive coefficient. That means 300 I, right? 300 I. Here you can see what is the coefficient. So the coefficient is positive. Why positive? That positive because it leads the resistance. Because here we have solved the problem by considering the angle, which is what we call in complex algebra we call the argument. But here we are directly considering the complex number format, right? So for inductors we call 300 I. So 17 divided by root 2 divided by 300i. So how to solve is we can just multiply by the conjugate. What is the conjugate of 300i? Minus 300i. So multiply by the conjugate. So then you can solve the numerator. So then after solving that, this is algebra, right? This is simplification. So this would be what? Minus 300 squared I squared. So you can solve this and you can get the same answer, right? Because this guy will give 40 milliamps. But keep in mind, guys, the whole term is negative. So I will tell you how to find this angle. So how to find the angle? The way of finding the angle means, this is also simple basics. Just consider this complex number z equals x plus iy. So what is the angle? Tan inverse y divided by x. I mean, like tan inverse the component of I, like the term who is staying with the I component divided by the real component, the real number component, because in this x plus iy, x is the real value and y is the imaginary value. This I is the imaginary component, okay, that I coefficient, okay. So the angle would be tan inverse y divided by x. So that is the case. So now here if you are going to consider this guy, this part is the modulus, because you can't give a negative value to the modulus, that is the value, right? So that would be same as 40 milliamps. So here in this case, now just look at this minus 17 divided by root 2 divided by 300 as a complex number. So here you can see, if you are going to consider this x plus iy format, there is no real part. The only value that you have is minus 17, this value. So anyhow, minus 17 divided by root 2 divided by 300 is that y value. So that particular y value you divide by 0, because why? The real component is 0. So the angle would be tan inverse, okay, tan inverse this y value. So what is that y value? This one, divided by 0, because there is no real component. So it would be infinity. What infinity? That is the important part. It would be like negative infinity. So tan inverse negative infinity means it should be minus 90, right? So 40 milliampere minus 90, 40 milliampere minus 90. Okay, I think now that is clear. See, the same answer. Okay, so now let's consider the resistor. So for the resistor, because for resistors it is same. So for resistors you are not going to talk anything about leading or lagging. So for resistors it is same as V equals IR. So no doubt. So what is the voltage? It is not 17, it is 17 divided by root 2 is the voltage, because the reason you are going to consider the root means square value. And here I put 0 degree because for the resistors we are not going to talk about leading or lagging. So this is the voltage, and that voltage divided by the resistance, this 400 ohm value is given. So this would be 0.03, that means 30 milliampere. That is the answer. So now we evaluated the current through this guy, and also we evaluated the current through this inductor. So those two currents will get added over there, right? So now we can evaluate the total current. So current through the capacitor equals the total current, that equals current through the resistor plus the current through the inductor. So that means current through the resistor is 30 milliampere 0 phase plus 40 milliampere minus 90 phase, because the current lags by 90 degrees. So now again we are going to use the knowledge of the complex numbers. Guys, there is some theory that you need to know. If the complex number is written by this symbol theta, right? R and this symbol theta, this theta denotes the argument, the angle. This R symbolizes the modulus, right? The absolute value. So if any complex number that is denoted by this R theta, this format, right? So that means we can represent this theta by cos theta plus I sin theta, because this theta is the angular component over there, right? That is complex number basics. Okay, so now as in our case, now here this is a real number but to this real number we need to add this one, because like actually guys we need to add two currents. We need to add these two currents, because it is not just 30 plus 40, because 30 plus 40 is 70. We can very easily do that, but we can't do that because of this phase difference, right? So now we know this 40 is the modulus, right, that 40 is the amplitude, right, the value of that current, but the phase angle is minus 90. So this minus 90 can be represented as cos minus 90 plus I sin minus 90. All these stuffs are from complex number algebra and simple basics. So you know, cos minus 90 will get no value, 0. So I sin minus 90. So what is the value of sin minus 90? Sin minus 90 is minus 1. So the remaining component inside this bracket will be minus 1. So minus 40i. So what is the value of our current? 30 minus 40i, because here 30 would come here, and after solving this, what would be the result? Minus 40i. So 30 minus 40i. So the resultant value would be, the final value would be, here you have to get the modulus. How to get the modulus, guys? 30 squared plus 40 squared under root. And how to get the angle? Tan inverse. Be very careful, guys. Tan inverse minus 40 divided by 30, because it is, you can't put this minus to anywhere. Did you get my point? Tan inverse minus 40 divided by 30 means, just suppose you guys write something like tan inverse, if you just put tan inverse minus 40 divided by 30, but you don't know to which number this minus is relating with, either to 30 or either to 40, but in this case minus is related with 40. So that means, guys, be very careful. Tan inverse minus 40 divided by 30, tan inverse, so minus 40 is somewhere here and 30 is somewhere there. So the angle is related to the fourth quadrant. Okay. In other case, if because no, you know, minus 40 divided by 30 is also same as 40 divided by minus 30, because somebody can say 40 divided by minus 30. So in that case, if you say like that, 40 would be there, minus 30 would be there. So that means it is related with the second quadrant, which is completely wrong. So be very careful with that. So that means the value that here, the value for the angle, this angle, right? I'm talking about this angle. So now you know this angle is tan inverse 40 divided by 30. It is minus because it comes to the fourth quadrant. So this is the current. This is the total current. This is the total current, 50 milliampere. Now see, guys, it is not exactly 30 plus 40. It is less than that because of this phase angle, guy. So it is 50 milliamps. What is the angle? It lags by 53.13 degrees. The total current is 50 milliampere, phase angle minus 53.13. Now again be very careful. Here what is the reference voltage? Guys, be very careful. Here we consider the reference voltage as the voltage across the inductor. See, this is the inductor, because we say the reference level for the voltage. The reference level for the voltage is the voltage through the inductor. So that is at 0 degrees, so no angle. Because in most of the time we consider the reference voltage from the source voltage, but here the source voltage is unknown. Okay. So the next scenario. So now we know the total current, right? So now how to find how to find the total voltage drop? Because now we know voltage drop across the inductor is same as the voltage drop across the resistor, because you know, parallel circuit, our resistor is there, our inductor is there, right? So now these two can be considered as a parallel circuit. So voltage across the inductor same as voltage across the resistor, and the voltage drop across the capacitor you can find because you know the current across the capacitor, and you can evaluate the reactance component for the capacitor, right? So I will teach you that, guys. Okay, so now let's focus this guy, right? The reactance component for the capacitor is Xc, right? That equals to 1 divided by C omega. What is C? Capacitance, which is in microfarad. be careful, it is in microfarad, so you need to put the standard units. That means farad. So that means 1 divided by 10 to the power minus 6 multiplied by omega, which is 2000. So that means this 10 to the power minus 6 will go up. So 10 to the power 6 divided by 2000. So the value would be 500 ohms, right? So guys, that is the case. Okay, so it is clear, because as we calculated the reactance value for the inductors, we calculate some value for the capacitors also. So the way of calculating that is 1 divided by C omega. So that is 500 ohms. But I told you capacitor leads in current. You know, capacitors they lag in the voltage, right? So capacitors right, so that is the case. Capacitors lag in the voltage, right? That means capacitors lead in the current, right? Because the reason is capacitors lag in the resistance, that means capacitors lag in the voltage. Because of that, capacitors will lead in the current. Okay, so that part is okay. So now you know the reactance guy for the capacitors, and you know the current through the capacitor, because current through the capacitor you evaluated, because that is 50 milliampere, and the phase angle of minus 53.13, because this minus 53.13 is the phase angle. So the reactance you know. And how this minus 90 came? Because the way of minus 90 came is that I told you capacitors lag the resistance. So because of that it is minus 90, because the reason PO capacitor lags the resistance by minus 90, because they lead the current by positive 90. So because of that 500 minus 90 phase. And the current 50 milliampere, because you need to keep in standard unit, you are going to put 50 divided by 1000. Okay, that is clear. And then the phase angle that we evaluated, minus 53.13. So just multiply this guy with this guy, you will be getting 25. How to get this guy? This is from complex algebra, like basic simplifications. So how to get these guys? You are not going to multiply this with that, just add minus 90 plus minus 53.13, that means minus 143.13. so be very careful, all these phase angles are with respect to the reference voltage that we considered for the inductor. Okay, done. So now total voltage is the voltage across the capacitor plus the voltage across the inductor, right? So that's how it happens, right? So this is the formula, because we know for the capacitor the voltage across the capacitor is 25 volts by making the phase angle of minus 143.13, and through the resistor and the inductor, because we can consider one drop, which is 17 divided by root 2. And here this 25 is also an RMS value. This 25 is also an RMS, root means square value. Okay, right? So that is what we did, right? Because we know the voltage drop across there, and we evaluated the voltage drop across here, because we know the current and the reactance. So this drop plus that drop would be the total drop, right? So now here reference voltage is taken with respect to the voltage level of the inductor. So that is done. So now again we need that complex number theory, right? Because now you know this is 25 angle minus 143.13, and here 17 divided by root 2, 0 degree. So now let's just use complex numbers. This angle minus 143, this guy you can represent in the complex number format, which is cos. This angle cos of what? Minus 143.13 plus I sine minus 143.13. So that is how you represent the complex number format. Now this is not the time to study about complex numbers, okay? The basics. Plus this guy. Okay, so now very simple, the 25 cos minus 143.13 25 cos minus 143.13, then again 25 I sin minus 143.13 plus 17 divided by root 2. So here you will be getting a real number, guy. Here also you will be getting a real number, guy. So you can sum up these two. So those two, what sort of a value it will give you? So this guy and this guy will give a total value of minus 7.979, right? So summing of this guy with that guy will give you minus 7.979. Minus 59 is coming from this guy, because just find sine of this angle, then that multiplied by this guy will give you minus 15i. Okay, so that is done. Okay, so now we know we obtained this complex number by simplifying the statement above that, like 25 cos this one, like that. So now so let me teach you something about that. So now we have minus 7.979. okay, so now we have minus 7.979 minus 59. So now there is something that you need to focus, so let me teach you that. So just sketch this xy axis. So this one denotes the real axis and this one denotes the imaginary axis, right? So now you know minus 7.979 is the real component, so which would be somewhere here. So minus 59 would be the imaginary component, which would be, let's say, somewhere here, right? So this minus 15 somewhere here, minus 7.979 is somewhere there. So now you know the magnitude would be somewhere like this, so that would be the magnitude. So now you know this magnitude will make an angle theta measured from the horizontal, like this. So now this angle theta you can calculate by, because simply this angle theta, right, simply this acute angle you can calculate by tan inverse 15, the y component divided by the x component, 7.979. so that is okay. So but what we need is the particular angle measured from the x-axis. Either it should go starting from the x-axis along the anti-clockwise direction, or either from the clockwise direction, like this. Okay, so now we know this angle theta. I think the value of that angle would be 61.99. so we know this angle. So then 180, so if you are going to consider 180 degrees and deduct 61.99 from that, then you can find the angle measured clockwise from this x-axis from here to there, like this. So that would be 118.01. but keep in mind, guys, the angle that you are going to measure along the clockwise direction, you will call it negative. So that is how there you got this negative 118.01 angle, right? So what is our total voltage? So our total voltage is 16.99, which is having the first angle that lags by 180 degrees. So that is why it is negative, minus 118.01. okay, so that is clear. So now let's focus the alternate method of doing that. Okay, now that was another method. So now I will be teaching you another method to evaluate that. So now, guys, just think we evaluate the total impedance. So let me sketch the circuit for you again. Right, so now simply this is our circuit. Here we have the resistor and here we have the inductor. Okay, right, and after that from there we have the capacitor. So that's okay. So now, guys, it's something like this. We know the value of this resistor and we know these reactance for the inductor XL, and also we know the reactance for this capacitor, which is XC. So now, guys, we can calculate the total impedance. So very easy, right? We can very simply calculate the total impedance, right, which is very easy, right? So if you know the total impedance, which is ZT total, And also we know the total current because we can just add the currents that are connected to this junction from this resistor and again through this inductor. So that means we know the total current, no doubt, right? So we know again we can simply use the formula V equals IR. So what is V? I multiplied by R. Now that here this R is the impedance. So current known, impedance known, so V equals IR. So that is what I have evaluated there. Okay, so that is the way, right? See, look this one, right? So that is the thing that I have evaluated there. So this is the total resistance, that is what we call as impedance, and this is the current, total current, because total current we already evaluated. So now let's see how we are going to obtain this 340 minus 64.94 guy. That's easy, guys. So I will teach you that. Okay, that is very easy, no doubt. Okay, so now what's our target? So now our target is to evaluate the total impedance, right? Okay. So now just focus this. So so now Z total, right? So I will again sketch this circuit over there. See, this is the resistor and then the inductor and then the capacitor. Okay, so now here we know what is the value of this resistor, 400. What is the value of the reactance over there is 300 ohms, and here it is 500 ohms. Okay, value would be in ohms, right? So that's no problem. So I think this is a parallel circuit. This guy is a parallel circuit. So what is the shortcut? Because you know the shortcut, if you have two resistors that are connected parallelly, how to evaluate that? See, this is one parallel branch, this is another parallel branch. So if this is R1 and if this is R2, there's a shortcut, that is R1 R2 divided by R1 plus R2. That is very simple basics. Okay, so now like that you can evaluate that. 400 is for this resistor and 300 I is for the inductor. So this is something like, you know, this is something like R2, right? This is something like R1. So 400 times 300 I divided by R1 plus R2, 400 plus 300 I. And here, and you know why this negative comes. What is the reason for this negative? Because capacitor actually lags the resistance. You know that, right? Capacitor lags the resistance because capacitor leads the current with respect to the voltage. So that is why here we get minus 500 I. So this is the reason here we get positive, because the inductor leads the resistance. So here we get one part, here we get the other part, and you know the reason for this negative. Okay, so just solve this. What is the way to solve this, guys? So here we have the denominator, so multiply this by the denominator. This is complex number theory, right? So so after solving this, right, because these all are simple you know, simplifications, guys. These are simplifications, right? You want me to teach that you can study, right? Okay, this is not about complex numbers. Just multiply by the common denominator, then you would be getting upstairs and downstairs separately, right? I think here what you can do is you can just here you can simply multiply 500 into 400. You would be getting 20,000, not 20,000, I think it is 2 lakhs. 500 into 300, I think 150,000. This is 120,000. So 120,000 I minus 200,000 I, that means 80,000 I negative, and here it is 150,000, the real component. So now you obtain this guy. Again, this is 400 plus 300 I, so I think you can cut these 100 units to this 100 units. So you would be getting 1500 minus 800 and I, and you can multiply by the conjugate, 4 minus 3i, because conjugate of this guy is this. So multiply by the conjugate, because the reason for multiplying by the conjugate means to eliminate this complex number part. So here you would not be getting any complex number. 4 squared minus 3i squared. I squared is negative 1, negative, negative, positive, so 16 plus 9. So this is the case. So after simplifying, you would be getting this 144 minus 308i. Okay, so you want me to teach that again? Okay, I will teach you that 144 minus 308i. Okay, I will teach you that. So 144, the size 144 minus 308i. Okay guys, this is very simple, right? 144, just sketch the axis. 144 is positive over there. Okay, minus 308 means y-axis would be negative, so minus 308 is somewhere over here. So the magnitude would be somewhere there. That means it is in the fourth quadrant. Okay, so angle would be measured like this, right? So just evaluate this angle, right, without considering the negative or positive side. Tan inverse, right, so tan inverse 308 divided by 144, right? So you can evaluate what is this angle. Okay, so let's see that. So if you evaluate like that, you would be getting minus 64. Okay, minus 64 means it is like this. This angle would be actually 64. What is that? 64.94. 64.94, because the reason for calling negative means angles that are measured clockwise are taken as negative, right? So this angle, as you can see, this is this angle minus 64.99. so that is the total impedance, right? Or in other words, the total resistance. So this is the total resistance, 340, but it is having a phase angle minus 64.94 multiplied by the current. So simply as that. So now this is the value of the total voltage from the second method, 17118.07. I think what is the value that we evaluated from the previous method, guys? It is 16.99. I think same value. Phase angle, okay, and I think in the previous value the amplitude was, I mean the modulus was 16.99. I think the angle was what was the angle? Minus 108.01. Okay, 118.01 minus 118.01. See, there is not that much of a difference, right? Because both the methods are correct. The total voltage and here also total voltage, very closer. The phase angle, all are very closer. But so that is the way, guys. So now here, right? So that means so now here we have evaluated the total voltage, right? But there is one thing that you have to consider if you are going to consider this circuit diagram. So now here we have considered the total voltage. What is the total voltage? Either you can consider 16.99 or 17. Okay, now let's say we are going to consider 17. Okay, so what is our voltage, guys? It is 17 volt. 17 volt. Now what is the phase angle? Phase angle, let's say okay, minus 118.07. just select the answer that you have obtained from like one particular value, 118.0, because both the methods must be correct, because there is not that much of a difference even in the angle and even in the value. So 118.07. okay, so minus 118.07. so minus 118.07 is with respect to the reference angle by considering the voltage across the inductor as the reference. So this is measured by considering inductor voltage as the reference. So this 17, what is the 17? So this 17 is the V. So what is this voltage? So this voltage is the root mean square voltage, right? Be careful, guys, this is not the peak value, this is the root mean square value. So the root mean square value is 17. So how can you evaluate the peak value? Multiply that by root 2. So the peak value would be 24.04. so that is the peak value. So you can obtain the equation. So what is our general equation? So I told you we have the general equation as according to the format. V peak times sine 2000 t, sorry, this 2000 is the value, okay, uh, omega t, right? If there is a phase of like negative phase, you can put minus 5. It has a positive phase, you can put plus 5. Vp sine omega t plus 5. What is omega? Omega equals to pi f, right? So according to our problem, this omega is 2000, so that is the case. Okay, so now this 2000 is omega. So what is our phase angle? Positive 5, but according to the actual case it is minus 118.07. See, minus 118.07. So this is the standard equation for the voltage. 24.04 sine 2000 t minus 118.07. So that is the total voltage. It is done. Okay, so that we have evaluated. So here you can see the total voltage, right, 24.04 sine 2000 t plus 5, that means here, right, because here the phase angle is negative. So this is the total. Okay, so now let's consider the phasor diagram, right. Okay, right, so now I hope you can remember the circuit. So this is our circuit simply. Here we have the resistor, and then here we have the inductor, and then we have the capacitor, and this is the source, right? So now that is the circuit diagram. Okay, so now let's carefully focus the sketching of the phasor diagram, which is very, very important. Okay, so now we know here, according to this problem, they have given us the voltage drop across the inductor, which is VL. So that is okay. So they have evaluated the root mean square value of the voltage. Okay, so now let's consider the voltage across the inductor as the reference value. So what is it? As you can remember, it is 17 divided by root 2. No problem. So now let's sketch that first. Okay. This is VL reference. Reference means the reason this is making no phase angle, no positive phase angle, no negative phase angle. The phase angle, the reference angle is 0 degrees because that's the reference, right? So now what's the next thing? So now you know this is the inductor, and we evaluated the current through the inductor. So what is the current through the inductor? That is IL. Okay. So what is the current through the inductor? I think we evaluated that. It is 40 milliampere, 40 milliampere by making the phase angle of minus 90 degrees, right? Why minus 90 degrees? Because I told you in the inductor leads in the voltage. That means inductor lags in the current. So this is the reference voltage or the voltage through the inductor. So now if I'm going to sketch the current, so the current through the inductor will be 90 degrees below the voltage, because why? Inductor lags in the current, or in other words, inductor leads in the voltage. So if I sketch that, it will be more. Now you know, when we are going to consider a pure inductor always leads in the voltage. Pure inductor leads in voltage, and pure inductor always lags the current. It lags the current by minus 90 degrees, right? So like there is a phase difference, so that phase difference is 90 degrees. That means in inductors, the voltage leads. In inductors, voltage leads with respect to the current. In capacitors, current leads with respect to the voltage. So that is the theory. So now you know this is the reference voltage. So now we know current through the inductor. What is the current through the inductor? That is IL. So that current IL lags with respect to the voltage. So let's sketch that. What is this? This is IL. This is the current through the inductor. So this lags by 90 degrees. So this lags by 90 degrees, right? So this angle is 90 degrees. See, voltage leads, current lag. That means the current goes behind. That's okay. So now, what is the voltage difference across the resistor? Because now it is same, right? Because now this is a parallel circuit, so the same voltage drop is applied to here and there. So, but if you're going to consider the resistors, the current through the resistor and the voltage through the resistor, it will not make it. So like if you're going to consider the current through the resistor and the voltage across the resistor, that will go in line, right? So there is no any phase difference. So this is the voltage across the resistor, because like these two are connected in the parallel format. So the current through the resistor, what is the current through the resistor? That is IR. So that will be in the same phase, no phase difference. So let's just sketch it like IR, but you know the value of IR. So the value of IR is 30 milliampere. So no need to write that. Now you know the value, right? So this is IR, right? Current through the resistor. So that is okay. So now the next thing, I think next we evaluated what is the total current. So what is the total current? That is 50 milliampere. What is the phase angle? Minus 53. Oh, shall we leave that? Okay, leave that guy. Okay, now I'll tell you something. So I will tell you that. Okay, so now we know what is the total current that we evaluated. So our total current I total is that is 50 milliampere, right? According to our calculations, the total current lags by 53.13 degrees. Lags means the angle is minus 53.13. That is the meaning of lags, right? 53.13. Okay, leave it. Doesn't matter. So now, what is the voltage? Can we know what is the total voltage? So total voltage we evaluated. So what is the total voltage? V total is 17 volts, which is actually in RMS. What is the angle? Minus 108.00. Okay. So our total voltage is 17. What is the phase angle? 118. 118 means, say, somewhere here. Is it clear? Yeah. Somewhere here. What is this? V total. But here in this diagram, there I will not put the numerical values, because the numerical values we have already calculated. Okay. So now this is V total, the total voltage. So what is the angle? 118.07 degrees, because like it is negative 180 because it is measured in the clockwise direction, going down. In the Cartesian plane it is going down, so minus 108. But here I didn't put minus because the direction is always negative, right? Because measured in the negative direction, so it is negative. That means anyhow the angle is 108.07. That angle 108.07 is 90. Okay, so that is the total voltage, right? The total voltage. And what is the next remaining guy? Yeah, now we didn't mark the voltage to the capacitor. See this guy, right? Now because I told you there are certain ways where we can evaluate that. So let me, because now that is already explained in the solution note, right? So this resistor, this inductor, R, L, and the capacitor. This guy you already know that. So now we evaluated this current and we evaluated that current. Okay. So now we know the total current. So method number one, we know the total current. So you can multiply that current by the impedance of this guy, which is something similar to the resistance, XC, right? So from that, you can calculate the voltage drop across the capacitor. That voltage drop you can add with one of the voltage drops over there, right? Either this one or that one. So that would be the. So now, according to the next method, here we have the resistor and here we have the inductor and here the capacitor. Okay. We know the reactance XC, we know the reactance XL, we know the resistor, so we can evaluate the total impedance ZT, Z total. So you know how to evaluate that, so it's not a problem, right? Z total and you know I total, Z total multiplied by I total, so it will be V total. So no issue. So you know that already. That's not the problem. So now let's focus the voltage across the capacitor. That is the next target. So what is the voltage across the capacitor? 25 minus 143.13. If you are going to check your calculations, you can see that. So where is minus 143? So minus 143, that is going even beyond that because this is 118. So minus 143. So let's sketch that there. So what is this? VC. Is it clear? This guy, this is VC, right? Voltage across the capacitor. So what is this angle? Up to here. Here to there, VC. So what is that angle? It is minus 143.13. No need to put minus because it is going clockwise. Anyhow, 143.13. That is there. Okay. That's the voltage. So now what is the current? So now you know if you are going to consider the current across the capacitor, leads by 90 degrees with respect to the voltage. So what is the current across the capacitor? So that is the total current. It leads by how much? 90 degrees. Current leads, right? It leads. So leads means there. What is this? I capacitor, that is same as I total. Lead by how much? The angle between this guy, which is voltage across the capacitor, and this guy, the total current or the current through the capacitor. So this angle is 90 degrees. If it is roughly 90 degrees, what would be this angle? So this angle must definitely be an acute angle. So what is the value of that acute angle? 53.13 as according to the calculations. 53.13. So that is how you are going to sketch the phasor diagram. So I hope that is clear. That is according to the board, right? Okay, so doesn't matter. I will again come to the screen also. Then you can get a better idea. Okay, so now for the betterment, I will again sketch the phasor diagram. So what is the first thing? First thing, we are going to mark the reference voltage line. This one, the reference voltage. Actually, the reference voltage is VL, which is the root mean square value. That's okay. So then we can mark the current across the inductor. So now we know if you are going to consider the current across the inductor, pure inductor. In a pure inductor, the current always lags by 90 degrees. So, right. So this is IL, which is the current across the inductor. So what is this angle? 90 degrees. Because the current lags in the inductor and voltage leads, right? You can see the voltage is leading, right? Okay, so that angle is 90 degrees. Right, and if you are going to consider for the resistor, right, the current through the resistor, so now you know the same voltage that is applied across the inductor is applied across the resistor also. So the current that passes through the resistor and the voltage drop that is applied through the resistor will make no phase angle difference, right? So voltage and current will go in line, right, because the same VL voltage is applied across the resistor. So the current across the resistor will make no phase difference. So along the same line, I mark the current across the resistor, which is IR. No doubt. Okay. So now what is the next thing? So next we can mark the voltage across the capacitor. Okay. So what would be the voltage across the capacitor according to our calculations? Guys, keep in mind all the time the voltage that is applied across the inductor is the reference. So VC making 143 degrees minus, that means it is measured along the anti-clockwise direction. Let's say like that. Okay, so what is this guy? This is VC, voltage across the capacitor. So what is that angle? I will mark like that, right? So what is that angle? It is 143.13. okay, minus, that means this angle where I have marked from the purple color, right? And now we are going to mark the current across the capacitor. So let's use a different color. So now you know PO capacitor, in a PO capacitor the current leads by 90 degrees with respect to the voltage across it. So let's sketch, let's make 90 degrees like this. So what is this guy? This is the current across the capacitor, which is actually same as the total current. Okay, so what is this angle? What is this angle between the voltage across it and the current? It must be 90 degrees, right? It's 90 degrees, no doubt. And in the other hand, what should be the angle between the reference voltage and the current through the capacitor, or which is same as the total current? What should be that? So that should be, because that we already calculated, the total current 50 milliamps, that is making 57.3. okay, so what is this angle? 53.13. it is minus means it is measured along the clockwise direction, right? So that's it. So now let's check whether we have marked everything. One more last thing, that is the total voltage or the resultant voltage. So resultant voltage we calculated, what is that? 24.04. what is the phase angle? Minus 118. okay, so now let's measure minus 118, minus 118. okay, so let's use this color. So what is this guy? This is the total voltage. What is the angle? Minus 118. so this angle is like, I will put this arrow, minus 118. 0.07 is there. So simply that this is the phasor diagram. Okay, this is the basic structure of the phasor diagram. So very easy, you just need to know some simple basics, right? What is leading and what is lagging, right? So that's the case. Okay, then thank you very much. But guys, hold on, keep one thing in your mind. According to this problem, we maintain voltage across this inductor guy as the reference. So here you know we have the inductor, right, which is L. So voltage across this guy is considered as the reference. So that is this line. Okay, then thank you very much.